13 verse 1, again. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy.
How do you know it's red?
It represents the color of Esau, and it's according to Genesis 25 and 25.
You shaking your head, yes. He didn't give me the precept Revelation 12. He just omitted that. Because in Revelation 12, it tells you that the dragon is what?
Red.
Red. Then you go with that. You over here shaking your head. See what annoys me? Go ahead, Amanda. What is the 7 heads? What is 7 heads?
It represents the Europe.
Stand up.
They represent the European Union, which is Greek.
Is that what he says?
I can't even hear.
No.
Somebody have a seat, Amanda. The 7 heads does not represent the European Union. Phil.
The major empires of Esau, starting with Greece, Rome, Spain, France, Germany, Russia, and Great Britain.
Did you say France?
Yes.
Okay.
Before
All right.
Germany and Russia.
So what are the 10? So you stand up back up, Phil. What are the 10 horns?
European Union is the common markets in NATO.
All right. The 10 horns is the 10 common markets, also called the European Union, also called NATO. You see them mentioned in the news all the time. Okay? What verse we at?
Verse 2.
All right, go ahead.
And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, and his seat, and great authority.
Read it again.
And the beast which
Stop. And the beast. Who is this beast talking about, Ezekiel? Somebody help Ezekiel, Phil. Barnabas, please. Esau. This beast is the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns. So John here in verse 2 is giving, he's abbreviating. He says the beast. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. Okay, now, many Bibles will precept you back to Daniel 7. However, it's not saying that this beast is made up of the Persians and the Medes, or what was one of the other in Daniel 7? The Babylonians. What else?
Persians and Greeks. And Rome.
And Rome.
Right. It's not saying that these other nations, remember it tells you the color of this beast. This color of the beast is what?
Right.
So it's talking about one race of people who have attributes like them other empires, but there's not them. Like the leopard, whose symbol was the leopard in Daniel 7?
The Greeks.
The Greeks. So they have attributes of the Greeks. The Greeks is a part of them. So guess what? The Greeks were red also. So we know the Greeks is a part of this dragon. Go ahead.
And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet as the feet of a bear.
Now, if you follow your precept of Daniel 7, who was the bear? Yes.
The Persian and the Medes.
But we know that this empire is not the Persian and the Medes. Right, brothers?
Yes.
I gotta scratch my head. Who took the symbol of the bear in this time and age? Yes.
Russia.
Russia took that symbol of the bear. Go ahead.
And his mouth as the mouth of a lion.
Now in Daniel 7, who had the symbol of the lion? Abiel.
Babylon.
Right, Babylonians was Ethiopia. But this is not talking about Ethiopia because it already told you this great red dragon. So it's talking about one race. Keep that in mind. Esau. What Edomite empire took the symbol of the lion? Yahshua. Right. Everybody got that? Write it down, because some of y'all just looking up at me. Like I know I got pimples, but come on. They can't be that big. Where we at?
Verse 2.
Go ahead.
And the dragon gave him his power.
And the dragon gave this red dragon, who's the dragon there? Azariah.
The dragon is the devil.
The devil. The spiritual demon, Satan, gave Esau their power. You ever want to know, how did this man figure out how much fuel it takes to get to the moon? How did this man figure that out? How did this man know what it takes to construct a vehicle to get there and a suit to endure out there? Huh? How did this man create a weapon that can annihilate everybody? Read that part about again.
And the dragon gave him his power.
That's how. That's how. The dragon gave him his power. Give me that Matthew 4.
So that kills all you Steve Jobs fans. They got $1 out. I hope I don't see none of you Negroes buying. Okay, everybody's saying what a genius and how smart he is, and y'all forgetting he's a devil. Don't be impressed with that, man.
Luke 4, verse 6. And the devil said unto him, all this power will I give thee, and the glory of them, for that is delivered unto me, and to whomsoever I will, I give it. If thou therefore wilt worship me, all shall be thine.
Read some from 5.
And the devil, taking him up into an high mountain, showed unto him all the kingdoms of the world in a moment of time.
So Satan showed Christ all the kingdoms of the world in a moment of time. Go ahead.
And the devil said unto him, all this power will I give thee.
All this power will I give thee. Go ahead.
And the glory of them. For what is delivered unto me, and for that is delivered unto me. And to whomsoever I will, I give it. If thou therefore wilt worship me, all shall be thine.
So Satan told Christ, if you worship me, I'll make you rule of all the kingdoms of the world. Go back to Revelation now. I just wanted y'all to see and understand that part at the bottom of verse 2 in Revelation 13. Read that again, and the dragon.
Revelation 13 and verse 2. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority.
So in order for Esau to get that seat and power and great authority, they had to do what?
Serve the devil, sir.
That's right. Worship the devil. Worship the devil. Worship the devil. Worship the... Let me stop saying it, because somebody will edit that part and say, see?
Watch your hand. Watch your hand movements.
He said worship the devil.
Yeah.
Watch your hand gestures too.
That's why when you look at on your dollar bills, you got all kind of Masonic symbols on there. When you look at Washington, D.C., it's made up of a pentagram. The streets form the goat head. That's not by accident. It's by design. Okay? Read on.
And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death.
One of the heads that was wounded to death was Rome. Write that down. Rome fell in what year and by whose hand?
Rome fell in 193 A.D. And the brother that led the way was, sorry to pronounce his name,
Septimius.
Very good. Write that down. Rome fell in 193 A.D. You know what's good? What was the name of the movie where they show him? But they got him as Esau. What was the name?
Gladiator. Back to Miscellaneous. Gladiator. Let's go. Let's go Gladiator.
I want the old one.
The fall of the Roman Empire.
That's it. Thank you.
The fall
of the Roman Empire. Because there's a short scene, and that was Septimius, where they go, here comes Septimius Severus.
Then the movie goes off.
Then it goes off. But what they got on Septimius on his shield, he got the hexagram. They're trying to say, they know he's a so-called Jew.
Right.
I mean, he was a Jew, not so-called, but they're trying to say he was a white man of their people, but he was a black man. And when you get Time Life books about the Roman Empire, it tells you that Septimius Severus, it says he was of African descent, but he was not African. He was in the Roman Empire. He was a Jew. Okay?
Right. The name of the book that you trying to mention was Imperial Rome by Time Life Books. And in that book they have, it's amazing because in that book they show the, if I'm not mistaken, they show the tetrarch, the 4 rulers of Rome, on standing in the piazza. And it's got Diocletian. They have Maximilian, Constantius, and Septimius.
Wow. And the nose is shot.
And the nose is knocked off and all of that. Now they got the picture of them there. Then when you go to another part of the book, they got them as a cracker.
Right. They show a bust of an Edomite head. But when you read in the sentence,
when you read in the writing,
it says of African descent. That just means he was black. That's for their people to read. They're not figuring that Negro. We're gonna sit down and go, hey.
Right.
They're not figuring we're gonna figure this out. We that dumb. We don't know.
That book is heavy.
It is.
In that same book, not to deviate, but in that same book they have the pictures, the terracottas and the wall mosaics of the gladiators fighting the animals, the lions and the tigers in the arenas, and they got them as black people.
Right.
I mean, clearly.
Exactly.
Y'all, what's up? Just bring the book in. Take it out your safe and bring it in.
All right. I'm gonna have to do that.
He got the book. He got it in the lock and key.
Y'all can order them books on Amazon. Order them books. You know? And you know, when we tell people to order the books, I'm gonna tell you, Esau moved quick. Their people know how to roll together. We the ones that don't know how to roll together.
And I watched with my own eyes how they pulled the Apocrypha out of Barnes & Noble.
Yeah.
They used to be on the shelf. Used to be able to go and buy them like nothing. Now they gone. They gotta look in the computer and say, I'll order it for you.
Y'all see that? So come on, where we at?
Verse 3. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death.
So, wounded to death meaning Rome fell in 193 AD. Write that down. Go ahead.
And his deadly wound was healed.
And his deadly wound was healed. Who can explain that? And his deadly wound was healed. Look, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, look at that. Look at that again. We'll come to class.
Zakat.
That's when Rome came back up as America.
Have a seat. I didn't like the way you said it. Josiah.
Means Rome came back to Spain.
Have a seat. Azariah.
Rome came back as America, took up the...
Have a seat. You saying that Rome came back as America?
Yeah.
I want to be... Maybe I'm not wording it right, because I can hear it.
They forgot the question. They forgot the question.
All right, Ramaya, help us.
Renaissance, which means rebirth, 1453
Right.
Spain.
That's what we wanted. That's what we wanted. 1453, the white man came back in power. That era was called the Renaissance. Because when ancient Rome fell, it was called what? The Dark Ages. When the white man came back in power, 1453, okay, they conquered, what was the first place they got? Constantinople. Then they had Spain. They sacked Constantinople. They got
Moors, 472.
I'm not there yet. They got Rome. Those are the first three. They got Spain, Rome, and Constantinople. Them three they took. That was 1453. There's a movie starring Lawrence Fishburne called, what was the name of that movie? Othello, where he's one of the last of the Moors. I believe it was in Spain, right? He was in Spain. And all the Edomites are plotting to get him out, to kill him and get him out of Spain. His best friend, Esau. So y'all want to get those movies, look at them. Because it's not meant for our people to even look at them things. We're not interested. You tell a black man, look at Othello. Nigga, please, I ain't looking at that. It's mine.
Movies like that will sell in the ghetto for about $1.
Right.
And nobody still won't buy them. You understand? But we'll put a pair of Nike tennis shoes.
$250.
Where's they say back? $250.
And they'll trample your mama.
You'll hold your newborn baby in line in the freezing cold so you get a pair.
Yep. They'll lick the under the sneaker.
Oh, man.
Right, they'll lick the sole of the sneaker, right, Ramaya?
Hey, Esau is making mockery of us over that on CNN, bro. They use the word phenomenon. They want to know what is the sensation around these sneakers. You gotta ask a Negro.
Exactly, yes.
Since he Same thing as in Malachi chapter 1 and 4.
We getting there. Yes, we getting there. Just give me a second. So read that again.
And I saw one, Revelation 13, verse 3. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast.
So now, Azariah, Malachi 1, get that. You read it for me. Because that's exactly what this is making reference to in the book of Malachi, chapter 1. So in your Bible, next to verse 3 here in Revelation 13, you want to put Malachi, chapter 1, 1 through 4.
Read verse 4.
Start from 1 so we know the subject.
All right. Malachi chapter 1, verse 1. The burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi. Verse 2. I have loved you, said the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us?
Can they hear him on the internet?
Well, they shouldn't be able to.
Okay, go ahead.
Was not Esau Jacob's brother?
Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Go ahead.
Said the Lord.
Saith the Lord.
Yet I love Jacob. Verse 3. And I hated Esau, and have laid his mountains and his heritage waste.
See that? And I hated Esau and laid his mountains and his heritage waste. That's 193 AD with the rise of Septimius Severus, the fall of Rome. Okay? And from that time period, the Dark Ages, we forced Esau into the Caucasus Mountains of Georgia, Russia. Read that again.
Verse 3. And I hated Esau and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Verse 4. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished.
Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished. We are destitute. We have nothing. Go ahead.
But we will return.
We will return. We will return and conquer them.
And build the desolated places.
And build the desolate places. That's the Renaissance era. Go ahead.
Thus said the Lord of hosts, they shall build.
They shall build from the Renaissance, 1453, up until now. Go ahead.
But I will throw down.
But God has promised he will throw down all the empires they have set up again. That was it. Everybody understand that?
Yes.
All right. Back to Revelation 13. What verse you at, 4?
Verse 4. And they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast.
See that? And they worshiped the dragon. They worshiped the devil, which gave power unto the beast.
Hey, you skipped something. Go back to 3.
Oh, I'm sorry. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast.
That part. That's the part that was left out.
Go ahead. So this thing was amazing. That this impoverished people came and conquered the greatest nation that ruled the known world. Oh, y'all see that? Go, what do you say, y'all? Sorry.
You see that part where it says, that you just read in Malachi, where it said, well, we will return and build the desolate places. They're saying that we're going to rise against what the Most High said. They said we're going to build despite what the Most High said. That's why at the bottom of 3, all the world wondered after the beast. Because right now they're getting the glory. People are worshiping him now. They're all over him. They love him to death. They're sitting there, go marry him. He'll take care of you. They love him.
Have his babies.
Have his babies. They love him. The Most High said, I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill everything.
Exactly. Y'all see that? All right, read on.
And they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him?
Who is able to make war with them? What that part mean? Why would they ask that question? Because it's the nations that's saying, who is able to make war with him? Why would the nations make a statement like that? Robert.
Because they look at the so-called white man as powerful.
Why?
Because they look at him as God.
Why?
Why?
There's a verse somewhere that explains that.
Zakai, why?
Yeah, exactly. Because Esau has great military might. America has great military might. So after
You ain't hitting it. Africans got a military. Filipinos got a military.
I'm talking about the nuclear weapons.
Oh, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, they got the bomb.
Yeah,
They have nuclear capability. They got satellites. How'd they get all that?
The dragon gave us power.
That's right. The dragon gave us power. Now, it's going to go in detail as we read later on. Okay? I just want y'all to put a little notion next to the little note there. Now, watch this. Bear with me a second. Let me see if I want to go here. I want to show y'all something. No. Nope, I don't want to go there. Read on. Verse 5.
Verse 5. And there was given unto him a mouth, speaking great things and blasphemies. And power was given unto him to continue 40 and 2 months.
40 and 2 months. There was given unto him a mouth, speaking great things and blasphemies. What does this mouth break down to? A mouth. His mouth is called what today? Yahshua. His media. His media. That's how he communicates. Okay? There was given unto him a mouth, speaking great things and blasphemies. Okay? We're going to get into the blasphemies in the next verse. Read on in verse 5.
And power was given unto him to continue 40 and 2 months.
40 and 2 months breaks down to what? How many years and what?
3 years and a half.
3 years and a half. Why does it say power was given unto him? The 3.5 years equals what, Ramiah?
350.
350 years. Why does it say, and power was given unto him to continue for 350 years? That's what the 40 and 2 months breaks down to. 40 and 2 months equals 3 years and 6 months. It's 3.5 years. Why? Why until that point? What happened next? Joel.
Most High sent Elijah the prophet.
Let me rephrase the question.
What happened during that time?
Israel during the time? Israel was in captivity.
All right. I want something else. I'm going to go back to your first answer. Give me Revelation 11:11. Give me that. This is where you was hitting at, right, Joel?
Yes.
Revelation 11:11.
Revelations 11:11. And after 3 days and a half.
See? Here it's saying 3 days and a half. But it's the same thing as the 42 months.
Same thing.
The same thing. 3 years and 6 months. Okay, which equals 350 years. Read it again.
And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from God entered into them. And they stood upon their feet.
That's Israel coming back. The truth being pushed in the earth. That's the time period we're in right now. Is that it?
And great fear fell upon them which saw them.
Get me Revelation 2:9.
Revelations 2 verse 9. I know thy works in tribulation, in poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews, and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan.
Right. So the name Judah, who knows whose name is in that name? Abiel.
Judah Tahel, the American black.
No, that's not what I asked you.
Jew.
You're not listening to my question. Whose name is in the name Judah? That's my question. Leon.
God.
Right. He gave us his name, Yahweh. Okay.
I was trying to find something real quick, not to back up far, but the bottom of verse 5, where it says, and power was given unto him to continue 40 and 2 months. Right? We got the understanding that that's talking about 3.5. We went to Revelation 11:11, which is correct. We also understand that 40 and 2 months, that 42 months also equals a time and a times and the dividing of times. So when the Most High said that power was given unto him to rule for 40 and 2, continue 40 and 2 months, the same thing is written in Daniel. 7:25, the bottom of 7:25, where it says, "And they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and a dividing of time." So he gave this man an extra time period to do his thing. Why? Because Israel was going to have to serve him during that same time. So when that time is over, that's when we're going to wake up.
That's what we're doing now?
That's what we're doing now.
Exactly.
Y'all see the connection?
Right. Yes.
Precept for...
No, we'll never get through it. Revelation 13. Back to where you was at.
Revelation 13, verse 6. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God.
So, he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God. He says he is God. He sets himself up as God. Go ahead.
To blaspheme his name.
And he blasphemed his name. Anytime you think of the name of God, he shows his face. Okay, he took the name Jew to himself. That's why we went to Revelation 2:9. Go ahead.
And his tabernacle.
And his tabernacle. Give me that in Ezekiel 35. Here's the proof. Right, here's your friend right here. This guy, they said this is Judah. Christ, the lion of the tribe of Judah. This cat. This is one of the 7 heads right here. Yes.
I was saying, notice how the image he got red here.
Exactly.
Brown to red.
Ezekiel 35 and 12 about the tabernacle.
Ezekiel 35
and 12.
In verse 12. And thou shalt know that I am the Lord, and that I have heard all thy blasphemies.
I have heard all thy blasphemies, come on.
Which thou hast spoken against the mountains of Israel.
Against the mountains of Israel. This is the tabernacle. Go ahead.
Saying they are laid desolate. They are given us to consume.
Y'all see that? So that's the blasphemy. They said the land of Israel is left desolate, is given us to consume. So they stole the land and took it as theirs and said, we are the Jews. We are the children of God. That's what they did.
13.
Go ahead.
Thus with your mouth ye have boasted against me, and have multiplied your words against me. I have heard them.
Right.
He opened his mouth against the Lord.
Exactly. So he boasted his mouth, opened his mouth against the Lord. Go back now to Revelation 13.
Revelation 13, verse 5. And there was given six. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven.
Right. That links with get 2 Thessalonians 2 and 4. You think about the Most High, Christ, the angels, he got himself up.
2 Thessalonians 2 verse 4. Who opposed it and exalted himself above all that is called God, so that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God.
So wherever you go, you want to learn about God, you got to go to the white man's churches, his religious institutions, and he got his images all throughout there. His ministers are set up to teach about his image. Even when you got our people as pastors of those religious institutions, they're still teaching Esau's image. Okay, everybody understand that? Okay. That was verse 4. Let's go back to Revelation 13.
Revelation 13.
In verse 7.
Verse 7. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints.
And it was given unto him to make war with the saints. So this dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns made war with the saints. Go ahead.
And to overcome them.
And to overcome them. Go ahead.
And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations.
And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. So not only did this dragon with 7 heads, where 1 head was wounded and came back in power, they conquered Israel, and not just us, they conquered all the other races. Okay, let's look at Deuteronomy 20. Let's deal with that first part. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. Deuteronomy 20. First, let's prove the saints. Where would we go to prove the saints? Hananiah, where would you go?
Psalms 148:14.
Very good. Let's get that first. Psalms 148 verse 14 proves who the saints are. Because going to Esau's religious institutions, they'll tell you anybody is a saint of God. Anybody that believes in white man Jesus is a saint. But that's not proven in the Bible. Psalms 148 verse 14.
Psalms 148, verse 14. He also exalted the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints.
The praise of all his saints.
Even of the children of Israel.
The word even means indeed of the children of Israel.
A people near unto him.
So, go ahead.
Praise ye the Lord.
So the only saints are the Israelites. Everybody understand it? Y'all see that?
Yes.
So don't let nobody confuse you. Go back to Revelation. No, I'm sorry. Go to Deuteronomy 28:48 now. Now that we know who the saints are, it said that this great red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns would overcome the saints. There's many precepts you can go to. We go to Deuteronomy 28 just to make it simple for you.
Deuteronomy 28,
48.
verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. Go
ahead.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck, until he have destroyed thee.
My question is to Steve. Thank you. In that verse, Steve, what is the word used in that verse for the great red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns? One word.
Enemies.
Very good. Very good. You knew that, get alive? Verse 68.
And the Lord shall bring me into Egypt again with ships.
Cargo slave ships. The word Egypt there means what? Bondage. Go ahead.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
Amana. In that verse, where is it mentioned the great red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns? What is the word in verse 68 for them? Look at Deuteronomy 28, verse 68. Like I told y'all, when you get to the book of Revelation, it's going to use other words. It's going to change the words up on you. You got to be able to connect the dots. Revelation says the great red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns. This dragon would overcome the saints. Moses used another word, Amada. Read verse 68 for Amada again. The brother who wants to be loved.
And the Lord shall bring me into Egypt again with ships. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
So Amada, where's the great red dragon in that verse? What is Moses calling them? Enemies. Very good. Gaba, do you see that? Okay. Let's go back to Revelation now. 13.
Revelation 13, verse 7. Verse 7 again. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations.
Right. That's why this country, America, I'll use the so-called, I'll use that term, they rule everybody. The other nations don't move without their say-so.
That's right.
Okay, watch this. Go ahead.
And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him.
Stop. Now, give me that thing, in case, because this is letting you know. It says, in case somebody want to be stupid and say, well, that might be the Chinese.
Right.
That might be the Africans or the East Indians. Because you get some Christians, you got, what's his name? The fat guy with glasses. What's his name? John Hagee. Jack Van Impe. Joel Osteen going to prophecies. Those are the two main Edomites that I can remember that go into prophecy. Oh, Benny Hinn. You also got, what's the guy? Perry Stone. They say this is Babylon. They'll bring up, they say, Babylon today is called, where's it at?
Iraq.
Huh? Iraq. And they'll go see, everyone's worshiping. Is everyone worshiping Iraq?
No.
I want y'all to look at this picture good. Read that verse again.
Does he look like an Iraqi?
Read
And all
that.
that dwell upon the earth shall worship him.
Everybody is worshiping this. You will not find a place, even in Arabia. This, you will find this image somewhere in somebody's house.
Wow.
As outlawed as it is in the Muslim ones, you will find some of them worshiping that guy. Yes.
The other day I was in the cabin and this dude was straight up African. He had a picture of Caesar Borgia in his mouth, listening to Bible scriptures.
You see some Puerto Ricans with them on their headlights. Y'all ain't see that thing?
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell? Who got it carved in the headlight?
They got it inside the car now, on the dashboard.
On the dashboard when they rocking with their music. The hell is this?
Like they're talking to each other. Like they're on stage. Back.
Read that again.
And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him.
So you gotta highlight that part. Worship him. Worship him. Everybody's worshiping the image of the so-called white man as God in Christ. So there's no, you don't gotta be the smartest dude on the earth to know who everybody's worshiping. Hold up a black man's image and a Chinese image and a white man's image and ask anybody who's being worshipped today as God in Christ. Everybody knows the white man. But you might meet that one knucklehead who's scared to say it. I don't know. You just want to smack him in the head. Go ahead.
Ask a child.
Yeah, you can ask a child. They know who this is. They'll tell you the truth.
You know, I've seen on one of these NBC one of these programs where they would testing the inferiority of the children. Remember, like the one we looked at before?
Yeah.
And they held a picture of that, and the child said, "Oh, that's Jesus."
Everybody knows who this is. Who they think this is. Yeah.
I was gonna say, they're saying shower worshiping, that's future tense, right? So that means that he's not
It was
talking
future
about-
from the time when they came out of the Renaissance. And that's what we're going to read down. What I want y'all to see in Revelation 13, verse 1 through 8 is going to be repeated again in verse 11 down. He's just going to give more detail. Come on.
And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of the life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world.
Because there's many people that give their heart, their soul. They will die for this image. Read on.
If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
What is verse 10 making reference to? From what we've just read, Azariah. No. Say right there. From what we've read in this chapter, let me word it like that. In this chapter, for him to say what he said in verse 10, read it again.
He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
Verse 10 is making reference to what in this chapter? Very good. Verse 7 says, and it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. That's why verse 10 says, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. So from 10 to 7 to Deuteronomy 28, verse, we went 48, 16. There's other places you can precept to show what this man did to us. Come on.
And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. And he had two horns like a lamb. And he spake as a dragon.
So now, I made a statement earlier. I said verse 1 through 8 is repeated verse 11 down in more detail. Now I'm going to see who's thinking. Read verse 11 again.
And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. And he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon.
Where is that mentioned in this chapter? Where is that mentioned in this chapter? Only Imar, Bezalel. Now let's try Apariah.
In verse 6.
No. Read verse 11 again.
And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. And he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon.
Hananiah.
Verse 3.
Very good. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. this beast came back in power again. Okay? So John is saying the same thing like I'm telling y'all. He's repeating using different words. Pay close attention. Now verse 11 again.
And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. And he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon.
He's going to get more detail now. So now, he said this beast, where is it at? This beast which came up out of earth, he had 2 horns like a lamb. So what? Why does it have like a lamb? He portrays himself as what? This man portrays himself as what? Phil. As Christ. Give me another word. You're right. Stay with that word. No, stay with Christ.
As the sacrificial.
No. They say they're what?
Jesus.
No. And Bezalel. No. I'm Leon.
Anointed.
No. Close. You were close. I want a word. A part. No. The white man will walk on the street and say I'm the Savior. He don't say that. What does he say he is? Steve. I want another word. Easier word.
Christians.
Christian. They say America is a Christian society.
God-fearing society.
A God. Wait. Take out your dollar bill. What does it say? In God we trust. They're saying they are a Christian society. They say Christopher Columbus. What does it say? When he stole America, they say he what?
In the name of Christianity.
He founded this place in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost.
Yeah, it's the ships.
Okay, the Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria,
And the good ship.
and the good ship Jesus came later. They say this is a Christian nation. That's why it says he had 2 horns like a lamb. Okay, everybody see that? Watch this.
Verse 12.
No, 11 again.
Verse 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon.
So he portrays himself Christian, but God says he spake as a dragon. Let's take one of the Christian principles of the United States of America. Is it the Bill of Rights or the Constitution? I always get them things mixed up. The First Amendment.
Freedom of speech.
Freedom of speech. What's the next one? Freedom of religion. They say these are Christian principles. Are those Christian principles?
Nope. I'll find that.
You will not find freedom of speech or freedom of religion in the Holy Bible. You will not find it. But everyone thinks that when the founding fathers, what's them devils' names?
George Washington.
Washington, Franklin, Jefferson, John Hancock with the big signature. They said they went into a prayer vigil. That's what they say. They sat down and prayed and fasted, and they came up with those things. And everybody believes that this is God sent. Freedom of religion. Give me Deuteronomy 7 and 7. Is it 7 and 7?
Yes.
That's what God said about the religions of the other nations.
Deuteronomy 7 verse 5. But thus shall ye deal with them. Ye shall destroy their altars and break down their images, and cut down their groves and burn their graven images with fire. That's it.
Do y'all see that? There was no such thing. There is no such thing with the Most High as freedom of religion. Because when we rolled, the Most High said, destroy all those religions out there. Destroy them. And when Christ returns, it's going to happen again. You let somebody open their mouth and say Buddha. It'll be the last word they ever utter. Yes.
It's a known fact now that those dudes were all satanic witches.
Yep. Exactly. But in school they don't believe that. Our people really don't believe that they were satanic witches. They don't believe that.
Yeah, you notice these modern days, man, how they use it. They say, don't talk about the other men religion. He's not talking about your religion. That's how they use it.
Exactly. Back to Revelation 13.
You know what's amazing? The people's process of common sense has been destroyed in this country.
That's right.
In particular. Because how in the world can you talk about freedom of religion when God has a purpose recorded in the Bible? As if God is going to allow people to determine the outcome of God's word.
Right.
That's showing you that people's thinking, their brain got to be up there behind. I can't understand how you're going to talk about freedom of religion. You have your own determination of what the Bible's talking about when there's a plan and a course on which the prophecy is going to go. Nobody is going to upset those plans. Those plans are going to happen exactly the way the Most High said they're going to happen.
Right.
So And to call him the Almighty on top of it. If he's the Almighty, that means all of the other gods are garbage. That means all the other plans and the ways are garbage. So there's no freedom here.
Exactly. Read verse Revelation 13 again. I want y'all to see this thing. Read verse 3 again.
Verse 3. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed.
So now, what head was wounded? Rome. How was it healed?
During the Renaissance.
Renaissance, 1453. From that time period, 1453, what nation sprouted out of that? From 1453 on up. One nation that was not a nation before, but forged itself into a conglomerate, a mix of all other nations. Steve?
The United States.
Right, the United States of America came out of that, 1776. So don't forget that. I want to keep that in mind. Read verse 11 now.
And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth.
So verse 11 is saying the same thing as verse 3. He's just using different words. Read 11 again.
And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb.
So this other beast is America. That came from the Renaissance era and forged itself a more perfect union to establish justice. And how's it go?
The American way, something like that. Freedom, justice,
domestic tranquility. There was a song when I was young and we all had to sing. I can't remember it now. But read 11 again.
And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb.
Like a lamb, because they say this is a Christian society. Amada, do you know the attributes of a lamb? Is a lamb aggressive or passive? Passive. That's why Christ called us the lost sheep of the house of Israel. America says they are Christian, which means they're supposedly a passive nation. But read the next part.
And he spake as a dragon.
But it's not a lamb. It's really a dragon. This is not a passive nation. This is an aggressive nation. Come on.
And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him.
Read verse 3 again.
And he exerciseth...
Verse 3 again.
Verse 3. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death.
Rome was wounded 193 AD. It was conquered. It fell. Go ahead.
And his deadly wound was healed.
And his deadly wound was healed. The Renaissance era. Go ahead.
And all the world wondered after the beast.
Now, verse 12.
Verse 12. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him.
What is he talking about there? We just read the answer. Ezekiel. Rome. He exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him. Rome. Rome. That's why the days of your week. These are Roman names. Monday, Tuesday, January, February. Okay? When you go throughout the libraries, you see images of Roman and Greek gods, Greco-Roman gods everywhere.
July, Julius Caesar, August.
Exactly. Who had their hand up?
I was going to say the same thing. All the architecture in the United States
is based on Rome.
1800s, it's all based off of Roman architecture.
All based on Roman architecture. Architecture. Thank you. Roman numerals are in place. Read that again.
Verse 12 again?
Yep.
Verse 12. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him.
Now, was ancient Rome a passive nation?
Oh, no.
Very aggressive nation. They were all about conquering. So God's letting you know, this new empire that's going to come up out of them, same attribute. It's really a dragon. They say they're Christian, don't fall for it. Come on.
And causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast.
To worship the first beast, go ahead.
Whose deadly wound was healed.
Wait a minute. Remember I showed y'all this earlier. Where did this image originate from? Phil.
Renaissance, when the Pope had to send.
Out of what empire? Rome! Caesar Borgia. Pope Alexander VI of Rome. Let me say it again, maybe they forgot. Pope Alexander VI of Rome, his son, Caesar Borgia, was chosen as the model of the Renaissance, Jesus Christ. Read that again. Verse 12.
And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed.
Right, whose deadly wound was healed. Because out of the Renaissance came the United States of America. Go ahead. Yes, sir?
Yeah. So you see what it says, it caused him to worship the first beast? Because that's where this, like the elders bringing out. That's who you worshiping. When you worship this man, you're not worshiping somebody that walked in our time.
Right.
You worshiping a man that walked in Rome. That's who you. Oh, that's Jesus. You worshiping a man that walked around in Rome, a demon.
That's right.
That's what that is. This has got their brain cells clogged up. This image is all in it. I had to bring this prisoner from home because we don't have enough of these prisoners in there, so I had to bring this in. I'm gonna scan it to make sure that we have plenty of this to go around so we can beat on it. To get those cells straightened out in your head.
Read on where we at? Verse 13.
And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men.
So now, it said he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Ezekiel.
It's talking about the bombs they dropped on Nagasaki. They said that it looked like a fire came from heaven that day.
The dropping of the atom bomb. World War II. 1945. Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Here's my question. Where did we read that up above?
There you go. I didn't want you to forget that.
Oh.
Get a line.
Verse 4. Where it says that the dragon gave the beast power.
And it says, who was like unto the beast who was able to make war with him. Right, very good. But there's something else I want you to look at this verse also. No, that was it. That was it. That's good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Now, back to verse 13 again.
And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles.
Notice what it's calling that fire from heaven. What is the Bible calling it? Miracles. Remember we read earlier, who gave them their power?
The dragon.
The dragon gave them their power. Read that again.
And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles, which he had power to do in the sight of the beast.
So now, how did it deceive them that dwell on the earth? When that bomb dropped and those two cities was decimated, the nation said what? Azariah.
They say God is with Esau.
Right, God is with them. God is with them. God bless America. And the fighting stopped. And notice who Esau dropped it on. They didn't drop it on Hitler. Why not? He caused all problems.
When he started.
They said, don't drop it on our people. We're going to need them. Drop it on them little funny slant-eyed cats over there. Drop it on them. That's how Esau gets down.
I guess when they dropped the bomb, all of the stores that sold these pictures sold out. They went out like those Nike shoes.
Yeah.
They were buying them up like crazy.
Also, after the nuclear bomb, the reason why they didn't bomb Germany is because if you notice, look it up in NASA, the majority of scientists in NASA
were German.
From Germany.
Yeah,
Right.
that made them.
And Esau, I tell you, Esau is about his people.
That's right.
They're about his people. The only ones that kill each other is us. We the only dumb nation that does that. Read that again. 13.
And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men.
Come on.
And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles, which he had power to do in the sight of the beast.
Which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, meaning his other European allies. Because remember in verse 1, it said a beast having 7 heads. Y'all see that? Read on.
Saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast.
That they should make an image to the beast. Now he's jumping back. John is jumping back in time. Letting you know. Okay, read it again.
And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles, which he had power to do in the sight of the beast.
Stop. Where do we read that? Yes, Josiah.
Verse 8, and all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him.
Very good. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him. Okay, so John, like I said, he's repeating the same thing, but he's breaking it down in more details now.
Brother Nathaniel, yeah, you remember when you said, when you quote the Bible, when it said all nations in the side of the beast, when these nations see what Esau has done, they say, this is my ruler right now. This is who I choose to rule the world.
Yep.
That's what they're saying in their mind, because that's why he set up the image. So they can show their tribute to that image. You understand? You say it, now show your tribute to America. You understand?
Exactly. Read 14 again.
And he deceived them that dwelt on the earth by the means of those miracles, which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwelt on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live.
So now he's jumping back to the Renaissance time period, because that's where the image came from. Okay, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword, which fell in 193 AD and did live. Live when?
In the Renaissance era.
1453. That image is where this white image of Jesus Christ came from. The Renaissance era. Go ahead.
15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast.
So now, who was the model and who was the artist? The model for Jesus and the artist. Barack Bar.
Okay, the model for Jesus was Caesar Borgia.
Yes.
The artist was Leonardo da Vinci.
Right, the artist was Leonardo da Vinci. Read it again, verse 15.
And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast.
Whose life did they give Caesar, this guy, Amado? Who did they tell you that this is? Right, that's the life they gave it. No longer do they don't tell you the truth and say, this is actually Caesar Borgia. They go, this is Jesus.
Wait. The pamphlet itself is telling you. Look what they got written on it. They got steps to Christ. So you say, okay, well, where's Christ? They said, oh, he's right here. That's what this is saying. No, y'all missing it. Examine what you see here. You don't look at this picture and say, this is Caesar Borgia. You don't say that.
Right.
You say, oh, that's Jesus. That's what they're flat out telling you straight up on the paper.
Exactly.
They're saying this is Jesus. Steps to Christ. And you say, okay, where's Christ at? You're looking at a cracker. You're looking at Caesar Borgia, talking about that's Jesus. They're flat out they're backing up what we're reading.
That's right.
Plainly, straight up. Read it again. Read it again. So they can see.
And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast.
So whose life did they give this homosexual?
Christ.
They gave him the life of Jesus. They gave him the life of Christ. So you don't look at this and say, oh, that's Caesar Borgia. You don't say that. You say, oh, that's Jesus. Because they gave the life of Jesus to this maniac.
Yeah. And he was a maniac. Okay.
See, when I said those words, I wasn't just saying those words out of anger. That's just real. When I cover up these words here, that's who this man's history is. This guy was notorious. When you read about him.
Had sex with his sister.
Sex with his own sister and all that.
They was poisoning everybody.
This guy was worse than Charles Manson, Helter Skelter. He was worse than all that.
Yeah. When you read some of the books on him, they said it was the age of Antichrist. Okay? It was the age of artisan. Because the artist is who it tells you when you read the history. Rome hired these artists, Leonardo, Michelangelo were the two main ones, followed by Rembrandt. Okay, you had they had teams of them to whitewash all the black images and put Caesar's image everywhere. So that way, it would inspire their nation to go forth and conquer us, and it would put fear in all the other nations on earth. That's what they were doing. So the artists played a big part in it. So read that again in 15. Yeah.
I was gonna say that, and when they had the revealing of the paintings, there were big events, and they would say that they were inspirations that came from God.
Exactly.
That's how they presented it to the people.
That's right. 100% correct. Come on.
Verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak
Stop. That the image of the beast should both speak.
Here's another example.
Right. Turn it around so they can see.
Here's the image of the beast speaking. They actually have up under this picture the scripture John 3:16.
Yep. So you think that this guy said these words? For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. This
So
is
you
an
said this is
example.
the Son of God.
Right.
You said this is Jesus.
Exactly.
They're saying he is the one that came down to fulfill the scripture.
And spoke these words.
And spoke these words.
Okay, so that's an example of how this image speaks. Another example of how the image speaks, Ezekiel?
Movies.
In the movies.
Oh, man.
You got, I always forget this Edomite's name.
Passion of Christ.
Well, that's another one here. Passion of the Christ. They hired that guy. They hire these thin Edomites that look similar to Caesar. You know? They got Jesus of Nazareth. No, not Ten Commandments, Moses. King of Kings, right. King of Kings. They play every Easter.
Yeah.
Okay?
Y'all realize that every actor that they get looks similar to this image here?
They have to make it. They don't get a fat guy.
They don't get nobody fat. They don't get them with black hair. They don't get them, they make them look just like this.
Yep.
Because that's the image of Caesar.
That's right.
The image of Caesar Borgia. That's why.
Exactly. Read that again, 15.
And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast.
Whose life did they give that image, Phil? Right, read.
That the image of the beast should both speak.
Corey, how does the image speak?
They use the scripture to say that that image was the one that came and spoke the word.
How else?
Deep, by saying he was deep.
The movies. The movies. Go ahead.
They should both speak and cause that as many as do not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
Who can explain that, Hananiah?
Because if they worship Christ, like when they came over here for us, and we worship him, they whipped us until we took it and started worshiping him.
Let me ask you a question, Hananiah. You stay right there. And cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. What is that making reference to in this chapter?
That making reference to
Get liar?
Verse 7.
Verse 7. Read verse 7.
Verse 7, Revelation 13, verse 7. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them.
And to overcome them. Read the bottom of verse 15.
Verse 15. And cause that as many as...
As many who? As many of us. As many Israelites. Go ahead.
As would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
So they were killing us if we didn't worship that image. They were killing our people. Northern and southern kingdom of Israel. They were slaughtering us. Okay? Read on.
Verse 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead.
And he causeth all. He causeth all. He causeth all. In this chapter, what is it making reference to? Yes.
Verse 8.
Huh?
Verse 8. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship.
Very good. And all that dwell upon the earth. And the bottom of verse 7. Read the bottom of verse 7.
And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations.
Right. Now, read verse 16 again.
When he causeth all, both small and great.
Stop. Read it slow.
And he causeth all, both small and great.
Read it slow. You're rushing.
And he causeth all, both
small nations. Go ahead.
And great.
And great nations. A small nation is called what today? Third world country. What's a great nation called? The free world. Right, a superpower. The European countries. Go ahead.
Rich and poor.
Rich nations are called what? You just said it. Same thing. He's saying the same thing. Jonathan, let me use different words.
Jake don't listen.
Right.
So you gotta say it clearer and clearer.
Read it again.
And he causeth all, both small
nations
and great
nations, rich nations
and poor
nations,
free.
What's a free nation? Name me a free nation.
America.
America's the free world. Europe is a free world. Go ahead.
And bond.
Those are what? Third world countries. Go ahead.
To receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead.
Now that's the verse we wanted to get through this whole day.
Right. Ooh.
RFID chip. Ooh. RFID chip. What does it stand for? Radio frequency identification. But wait a minute. Did that mention? Read it again.
And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads.
Go ahead.
And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark.
Stop. So the subject is, with this particular mark, you can't buy or sell. Can somebody tell me what a radio frequency chip has to do with that? A radio frequency identification is meant as what? A GPS. To find location. Where's my dog? A sister wrote me and said, my dog has an RFID chip. I said, well, maybe he can go buy some land for you. Simple as hell. A radio frequency identification chip is like you can find the location of whoever got that. Yeah.
Like in your Metro card, your phone, your car, whatever you lose, you'll find it.
Right. Those are there's chips in there to load for locations. Now,
Galatians 13 verse 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor,
talking about nations,
free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead.
So this mark is, right, this mark is a philosophy, a doctrine. Somebody might jump up and say, hey, prove that it's a philosophy. There's no scriptures. Is there a scripture that talks about that?
Yes.
Where? Joshua.
Ezekiel 9 and 6.
Not that. Nope. Colossians 2 and 8. Colossians 2 and 8. It's going to explain the mark.
Have you ever seen people that has had their arms amputated? How they gonna get the chip?
Put
it in their head.
Colossians 2 and 8.
Here it comes.
Beware lest any man spoil you.
Wait, read it right so they can understand.
Colossians 2 verse 8. Beware.
Beware. Be warned.
Lest any man spoil you through philosophy.
Through what?
Philosophy.
Philosophy.
And vain deceit.
And vain deceit.
After the tradition of men.
After the tradition of men. Which men primarily was Paul addressing, making reference to? Anybody know? Was he talking about the Africans? Malachi.
The white man.
The white man. Rome, because Rome was in power. So he made it simple. That's any man. What man? Because you could not come out and say I'm talking about the white man, Rome, because what would have happened? You get killed. Rome didn't play like that. He said, any man. It could be your father. Paul was very slick when he spoke. Read Colossians 2 and 8 again.
Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Christ.
Watch this. Let's go back to Revelation 13. Because somebody said, there's no scripture that talks about philosophy. We just proved you a liar, brother. You could go into the Greek till your head falls off. You will not find a scripture about a chip. And the only chip I'm getting is potato chip. That's it. Ain't gonna be nothing else. Read that again.
And he calls it, Revelations 13 verse 16. And he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor,
rich nations, poor nations,
free and bond,
free nations, bond nations,
to receive a mark,
in
their right hand,
in their right hand. Now with your right hand, because somebody might say, why does it say a mark in your right hand? A mark in your right hand. With your right hand, what do you do with terms of doctrines, with terms of philosophy, with your right hand? Yahshua?
That's when you swear oaths and things like that.
You swear oaths with your right hand. You make Isaac, come in. Me and Isaac in an agreement. Stretch out your hand. You stretch out your right hand. What happens if you go to a business meeting and put out your left hand? They look at you funny. They said never trust a man that shakes an agreement with his left hand. It must always be the right hand. You support with your right hand. You pledge allegiance with your right hand. Okay? You salute with your right hand. You understand that? You give oaths with your right hand. Read that again. 16 again.
And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads.
Go ahead. Now what's in your forehead? Brother that want to be loved. What's your name? Amado. What's in your forehead? Your brain is in your forehead. So philosophies and doctrines is up in here. With your right hand, you support them things. You pledge allegiance to them things. You make agreements to them things. Read.
And that no man.
Now what type of man is he talking about? Read 16 again.
Verse 16 again. And he causeth all, both small
nations
and great
nations,
rich
nations,
poor
nations,
free
nations,
bond
nations. Read 17 again.
And that no man might buy or sell. Save he that had the mark.
Stop. Save he that had the doctrine of philosophy. Now you might say, I need a little bit more. That, people always say, I need more. But when it was that ship, they didn't need no more. But I'm going to give you some more. Give me 1 Maccabees. Here's some more precepts for you. Now I'm just going to come home now. Let's see what Rome did. 1 Maccabees chapter 1. Remember, Rome came from... Rome was also called what? Go back in time. Yes. Nope, something else. Maybe I'm not wording it right. What is Rome? I'll just say it. Sometimes Rome is called the Greco-Roman Empire. Because when Rome and Greece was at war, they didn't destroy Greece and forget about them. They what's the word? What?
Assimilate.
They assimilate. They merged Greece into Rome. I want you to understand that. It's going to help you in this understanding. 1 Maccabees chapter 1, verse 41. So now, we're saying that the mark of the beast is philosophies and doctrine. Somebody else is talking about a computer chip. But the Bible says you got to do what? Precept must be upon precept. Here's another precept. 1 Maccabees 1:41 to 42.
Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people.
He said he wrote the letter to all people that all should be one people. Remember, what this is sounding like is America. One people, read.
And everyone should leave his laws.
Leave his laws. Whatever land you come from, leave your own personal laws that you go by.
So all the heathen agreed.
And all the heathens agreed. All I want down is verse 42.
According to the commandment of the king. That's 42?
That was 42?
Yes.
Now, from there, go to 1 Maccabees chapter 8. I'm going to show you something. 1 Maccabees chapter 8. Because, don't forget, remember, up in verse 3, it was talking about this nation that came out of the nation who was wounded, right? America came from what? Rome. 1 Maccabees chapter 8, verse 1.
First Maccabees chapter 8, verse 1. Now Judas had heard of the fame of the Romans.
So who are we talking about? The Roman Empire. Read.
That they were mighty and valiant men, and such as would lovingly accept all that joined themselves unto them.
I want y'all to pay close attention to that. As such, and would lovingly accept all that join themselves unto them. This is going to play a key part in your understanding of you cannot buy or sell except you have the mark or the name or the number of the beast.
That's super heavy what you're bringing out.
Come on.
Verse 2.
Verse 1 again.
Verse 1 again. Now Judas had heard of the fame of the Romans, that they were mighty and valiant men, and such as would lovingly accept all that join themselves unto them, and make a league of amity with all that came unto them.
So you want to highlight that part there. You might ask yourself, well, what does this got to do with it? It's going to play a big part. Jump down to verse 11 to 13. I'm going to get to the key points. Y'all can read the rest of the history on your own. 11 through 13.
First Maccabees 8, verse 11. It was told him besides, how they destroyed and brought under their dominion all other kingdoms and isles that at any time resisted them.
This is what we were reading in Revelation 13. Go ahead.
But with their friends,
and
such as relied upon them, they kept amity.
They kept friendship. They kept league of agreements. Go ahead.
And that they had conquered kingdoms both far and nigh, and so much as all that heard of their name were afraid of them.
Come on.
Also that whom they would help to a kingdom, those reigned.
Whoever Rome wanted to help to a kingdom, those were the leaders they set up. Go ahead.
And whom again they displaced.
And whoever they decided to take down, they displaced them. Right, that's that embargo, right? Go ahead.
Finally, that they were greatly exalted.
Finally, that they were greatly exalted. Let's go back now to Revelation 13. So we're showing you the attributes of Rome, which later on became known today as the United States of America. Revelation 13, 16 again.
Revelation 13, verse 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead.
So this mark is their philosophies, their doctrines, their, what do they call it? Their, give me another word for America's, policies. You might hear the word in the news, their diplomatic policies. Those are the words you hear in the news, right?
And that no man might buy or sell.
Give me another word for buy or sell. I want one word that discusses, that uses, that expresses buy or sell. Steve.
Trade.
Trade. That no man can trade except what?
And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark.
So now stop. You might say, wait a minute. Is that really what this is talking about? Trade. Buying and selling, trade. Yes. Give me a precept, Ezekiel. Ezekiel 28. Verse 4 and 5. You need some words. These words are going to help you. You don't got to go to the Greek or the Latin to come up with a computer chip. You crazy? Ezekiel 28, verse 4 and 5. Come on.
Ezekiel 28, verse 4. With thy wisdom and with thine understanding, thou hast gotten thee riches.
See that? Thou hast gotten thee riches. Read.
Thou hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasures.
Go ahead.
By thy great wisdom.
By thy great wisdom.
And by thy traffic.
And by thy traffic. Can we look up that word traffic?
I think this is the one you want. The transportation of goods for the purpose of trade by sea, land, or air.
Y'all see that? Read the bottom of that one again, Joshua, again.
The transportation of goods for the purpose of trade by sea, land, or air.
Now the term the Bible uses for trade is what?
Traffic.
Traffic. What else in Revelation?
Buy and sell.
Buy and sell. Buy and sell. That's what traffic is making reference to in Ezekiel 28. Yes.
In the documentary we referenced before, and in the movie Even the Rain,
Yeah.
And the other one with the that Esau said he was the devil. Was that
When you get your thought, come back.
no, even the rain, they force, their American companies control foreign interests.
Right.
So the food that people eat, their sanitation, everything that they need is dependent on American companies.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes, as a end of poverty. Yes, that's the name of it.
Yeah, also, if any of these nations try to go outside of what's put down, they put an embargo on them.
We get into that. Let's go right back to Revelation 13 and 16 again. We getting there.
Okay. Revelation 13, verse 17 or 16.
16 and
16 again. And he causeth all.
He causeth all nations. The all is making reference to nations. Go ahead.
Both small.
Small nations.
And great.
Great nations.
Rich.
Rich nations.
And poor.
Poor nations.
Free.
Free nations.
And bond.
Bond nations.
To receive a mark.
That mark is their philosophy, their policies, their doctrines. Go ahead.
In their right hand.
In their right hand, because in your right hand, you support it. You pledge allegiance to it. Go ahead.
Or in their forehead.
In your forehead, you believe it. Go ahead.
And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark.
And that no man might buy or sell, meaning, and that no man might, give me another word? Trade or traffic, save he that had the mark. We just read that. Go back to Maccabees. Go right back to Maccabees. First Maccabees chapter 8. What we read what Rome would do.
Verse 1?
No, not verse 1. I want the one about whom they set up or displace, that verse.
11. First Maccabees 8, verse 11. It was told him besides how they destroyed and brought under their dominion all other kingdoms and isles that at any time resisted them. But with their friends and such as relied upon them, they kept enmity, in that they had conquered kingdoms both far and nigh, insomuch as all that heard of their name were afraid of them.
Here's the point, verse 13.
Also that whom they would help to a kingdom, those reigned.
So if Rome was in agreement with you, you would reign. Go ahead.
And in whom again they displaced.
If you were not in agreement with Rome's policy, you were removed. What does America do today? Let's think about it. They put an embargo on you. You don't, like they just put one on Iran. They said, you don't want to do what we say? Let's put an embargo on you. What does that mean, an embargo? Yeah, look it up.
Embargo.
That's like blacklisting you.
What does it mean?
Tell the other nations don't trade with them.
Right, you can't trade. You can't buy or sell. You understand it? A sanction is only on an item. Like with a country, let's say I make this and you mad at me about something. Let's say I'll put a sanction on your orange Sharpies. But an embargo is on the whole country. Nobody can't do business with you, can't buy from you, can't trade with you. Read it again. 13, Revelation 13.
Revelation 13,
16 and 17
verse
again.
16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell.
And that no man might trade. No man can trade. Go ahead.
Save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast.
The name of the beast is Babylon the Great, America today.
Or the number of his name.
And as we read down, it's 666. That's the number that represents them. So this is talking about embargoes. This is not talking about, brother, I want to buy a Snickers bar and I don't have a chip in my hand. Can you go to the store and buy me a Snickers? I ain't talking about that. That's just Negro jailhouse foolishness.
That ain't gonna stop a Negro from getting a Snickers bar anyway.
Exactly.
So, this is ridiculous, but this is really crazy that we even have to deal with.
Right. Let's get some more precepts. Put your hands down. Let's get some more precepts for causing all to receive. Number, Revelation 13 and
17.
16 again.
16 again. And he causeth all.
Notice it says all. Go ahead.
And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead.
Or in their foreheads. Go ahead.
And that no man might buy or sell.
And that no man might traffic, trade,
save He that had them marked.
He that had the philosophy, the policies of America.
Or the name of the beast.
Or the name of the beast. Babylon the Great, you got to be under America's umbrella. Just like we read in Maccabees. You had to be in some kind of league with Rome. Go ahead.
Or the number of his name.
Let's get some more precepts. Because somebody, I need more precepts. Well, here's some more. Let's go to Revelation 18. For the doubting Thomases. We're going to smash it tonight. Ask them Chip brothers for a precept in the Holy Bible.
In English.
In English. You'll see that. Now you're the devil. Now you're rebellious.
Yeah, now you got the chip.
Yeah, you got the chip. That's why you're asking that.
Hey, and when they watch this video, they're going to wait till you get to the word the and say, you see, he didn't break down the.
In Greek, the means the chip.
You see, he's trying to be slick. It says the, he didn't say what the means.
So now, you want to know what more precepts on Revelation 13, verse 16 and 17 about the mark in your head, the mark in your right hand that you can't buy or sell, meaning trade or traffic. Revelation 18 sums it up. Let's go to Revelation 18.
Hey, Elder, also, be careful with your fingers, bro.
Oh, am I right?
You know how they
Go
are
like
with your
this.
fingers.
Yes.
You're a damn devil. You
Talk like this. Yeah, brother.
Yeah, talk with your hands closed. If you put the fist, see, that's that Farrakhan stuff. You
Yeah,
see?
pick a finger, pick a finger.
Let's get the scripture.
Revelation 18 and 3. Watch this.
Watch it. Stop watching Scooby-Doo, fellas.
Exactly. Watch
Revelation
this.
18 what?
Verse 3.
Verse 3. For all nations have...
Stop. For all nations. All nations. Remember we read in Revelation 3? It's saying it calls it all. And I told y'all it's talking about nations. Here's the proof it's talking about nations. Read.
For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication.
Let's stop right there. Because now, John the Revelator is using different words. He's not no longer using the word mark. He's using the word what? Wine. Where would we go to explain wine? I'm on.
Micah 2 and 11.
Let's go there real quick. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. So this fornication is the wine that the nations have drunk. Let's find out what it is. Because remember I said philosophy. The Bible's talking about philosophies, doctrines. Give me another word for philosophy. Give me an easier word. One word that has 3 letters in it. Leon.
Sin.
Sin. Sin. Now, where we at?
Micah 2:11.
Micah 2:11 to explain why.
In English. If a man walking in the spirit and falsehood do lie.
If a man walking in a spirit of falsehood do lie,
saying, I will prophesy unto thee of wine.
Saying, I will prophesy to thee of wine. So Robert, what is this wine talking about in that verse? Look in the verse. You're looking at me. I want to look at the verse. Y'all need to be able to explain this on your own. Isaac.
Falsehood and lies.
Falsehood and lies. Read it again, I thought, for him.
If a man walking in the spirit and falsehood do lie, saying, I will prophesy unto thee of wine.
So that wine translates to lies and falsehood, according to Micah 2. Y'all see that?
Yes.
Okay, let's go back to Revelation 18. And 3 again.
Revelations 18 verse 3. For all nations
have
drunk of the wine.
Have drunk of the lies. Have drunk of the lies, the falsehood. Have drunk of, what did Colossians 2 and 8 call it? Philosophies, doctrines of men, vain deceit. Read it again.
For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication.
Her fornication is her lies. Her fornication is her vain deceit. Her fornication is what? Her sin. It's all talking about the same thing. Go ahead.
And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her.
Wait a minute. It says, and the kings. Is that one king?
And the kings
of the earth. See, you think this is talking about a Negro trying to buy a Snickers bar? It ain't talking about that. It's talking about the kings of the earth. Read it again.
And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her.
They all were in agreement with America's policies, her philosophies. Go ahead.
And the merchants of the earth.
And the merchants of the earth. What do merchants do? Trade, buy and sell. Merchandise, export, import. Read it again.
And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacy.
Y'all see that? Jump down in the same chapter to verse 8. We gotta finalize this thing. Jump down. Pay close attention. This is gonna help y'all with the mark and the buying and selling. Right here.
18 verse 11?
18 verse 8. I want to start there.
Verse 8. Revelations 18 verse 8. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death, and mourning, and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord God who judges her.
So John sees in a vision the destruction of Babylon the Great, the destruction of America. Read, watch this.
And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her.
Wait, stop. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication. Remember we read that up in verse what? Verse 3. It said about the wine of the wrath of her fornication, which broke down to what was the wine? Their lies, their falsehood. Read verse 9 again.
And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her. And they shall see the smoke of her burn, and the merchants of the earth.
Now we get into the buying and selling. And the merchants of the earth, come on,
shall weep and mourn over her.
Watch this.
For no man buyeth.
For no man buyeth
their merchandise anymore.
Their merchandise. And you want to highlight that. For no man buyeth. No man's trading. No traffic no more. Come on.
The merchandise of gold.
Now John going to break down to you what merchandise they were dealing with. The merchandise of gold.
And silver. And precious stones. And of pearls. Fine linen. Purple. Silk. Scarlet. Fine wood. All manner of vessels of ivory. And all manner of vessels of most precious wood. And of brass. And iron, and marble,
come on,
and cinnamon, and odors, and ointments, frankincense, wine, oil, fine flour, wheat, beasts, sheep, horses, chariots, and slaves.
So that has taken the Israelites out of the equation. You ain't buying or trading yourselves. It was the nations that was buying us. It was the nations trading us. We were included in the merchandise. Read that bottom part again.
And slaves and souls of men.
And souls of men, because they were indoctrinating us. Everybody see that? Yes. So this, the chip in you, that's garbage. That's not what God's talking about. Okay? From there. Yeah.
Verse,
wait. Let's go down. Keep reading.
Yeah.
Watch this.
Verse 14. And the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee. And all things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee. And thou shalt find them no more at all. The merchants of these things, which were made rich by her.
They got rich off us too. We were the slaves. Go ahead.
Shall stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing,
come on,
and saying, Alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen, and purple and scarlet, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. For in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught.
Watch this.
And every ship master.
How do we get over here? Ships, come on.
And all the company in ships, and sailors, and as many as trade by sea, stood afar off.
What is the word in that verse for buy and sell? Trade. Ezekiel used the word traffic. Precept must be upon precept. That way you will never be deceived. If we just hold on to what God, how he taught us to read the Bible, we're going to be good. We're going to be safe, brothers. But if you leave the Bible and go to some Greek, Latin language, you're going to get lost. You're going to get lost. Right? You're going to get bit by the zombies.
Now the Negro going to sit there. What Negroes are doing trade business?
Exactly.
There's no black toothpick factory, toilet paper. There's none of that. We don't do trade and business. You don't see no Negroes doing that.
All that we do is consume.
Exactly.
We
make them richer.
Negroes trade bullets.
I see in land. I see in land.
Right.
So these simple brothers, right, that are waiting for the mark of the beast, they're going to wait long, because what we just read there, the mark of the beast been around ever since slavery.
That's right. Ever
since slavery, the mark of the beast came around. Okay, so the brothers that are waiting for that, they're gonna just keep waiting, because the mark of the beast is already here. All right, it's already here.
Exactly. So, yes, Josiah.
And I'll give you a popular example. Japan and China, they tried to keep the beast out for a while, but eventually he broke down the walls and he almost burnt their city down to get in.
Exactly.
To buy and sell.
Yep. Oh, okay, now, bear with me a second.
Revelation 14, verse 9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead, or in his hand,
to support,
the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation.
Come on.
And he shall be tormented with fire. And brimstone, in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb.
Go ahead.
And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name.
So now, for the Israelites, somebody's talking about the mark of the beast. If you take it, you'll be destroyed in a lake of fire. Give me a scripture that tells us what will give us. I need y'all to learn how to precept. This says if you take the mark or his image, right? Mark of the image, what else? Mark the image, and then whoever receives the mark of his name, you're going to be tormented. You're going to go into the lake of fire, right? Give me another scripture that discusses that and sums it up. I'm going to give it to you. Let me give it to you. Romans 6:23. I'm going to see if y'all can see it. Get that? Romans 6:23. It's the bottom of it. Is it verse 23?
Yep.
That's it?
Yep.
That's it.
Romans 6, verse 23.
Watch there. All I want, read the whole thing, but it's the bottom precept I want y'all to see.
For the wages of sin is death.
Do y'all see that? The wages of sin is death. Sin. When you read the other books in the Bible, you're not going to read the mark of the beast. You're not going to read that. The other prophets use the word sin. That's why your mind's got to be opened up. That's why it says precept must be upon precept. Sin is what's going to get you death. Y'all understand that? Read the whole verse.
For the wages of sin is death.
That's the part I wanted. But go ahead.
But the gift of God is eternal life through Jesus Christ our Lord.
So what gets us death? Sin. In the book of Revelation, it says, if you worship the beast or his image or got his mark on you, you're going to be cast into the lake of fire. That's death. Sin. Sin. Because America says, in this country we have freedom to do what we want. You got organizations called NAMBLA fighting, called North American Man-Boy Love Association, in court, fighting for the right for grown men to have sex with little boys.
What?
You have things called zoo, where women are having sex with animals.
They go zoo.
They go zoo. They call it. They say, "Are you zoo?" I'm zoo.
Seattle.
Right. They got one in Seattle. There's religions that allow you to worship the devil. The spiritual demon Satan. Luciferians. Right. And you can commit adultery. You can be homosexual. What? This whole system is about sin. But John doesn't call it that. John the Revelator says the mark of the beast, the image of his name, it's all sin now. It's all sin. But that buying and selling, brothers, is the mark in terms of buying and selling is trade. It's traffic for the nations. Y'all understand that? Yes. So don't get it confused. Yes, ASAP.
Even with the foolish philosophies, as the elder just brought out, they announced today on the news that there's a church that set up a tattoo parlor inside of it. Y'all heard about that? Wow. The head of the church says that he doesn't see anything wrong with them, and he wants to break away from the contemporary churches. Y'all can look it up. They announced it today. It was on 1010 Wins and CNN. And what he did was he put a first church ever with a tattoo parlor inside of it.
Check that out.
That's how evil this man has got.
Watch this.
Wait a minute. Are there any Bibles in this church? I just want to know. Did they during the discourse of the program, did they mention that there was a Bible?
Bro, I wanted to, because there's already a blog being started over it. Because no Negro don't know in the scriptures where it says don't print any marks upon you, so we can go in. Okay? The world does not understand that there's a scripture that forbids tattoos. So everybody's praising it as it's a good thing. It's change being brought to America. We're leaving the contemporary church.
Exactly. Watch this. Ezekiel 9 and 4. Let's talk about the Most High God for a second. Ezekiel 9 and 4. Actually, before we get to Ezekiel 9, get me Psalms 137 about our right hand. The right hand. I'm going to show you the flip side of the coin with God. Because God talks about having a mark in your head, but in righteousness. And your right hand in righteousness. Psalms 137, what verse is it?
Verse 5.
Verse 5.
Psalms 137, verse 5. If I forget thee, O Jerusalem.
If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, meaning if I forget my nationality, if I forget my origin, my birthplace.
Let my right hand forget her cunning.
Let my right hand forget her cunning. Let my right hand, meaning what? I'll forget about God's commandments. I'll forget how to do what the Most High God says if I forget who I am. Read it again.
If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning.
So that's what the Bible talks about with the Israelites. If we forget who we are, our right hand is going to forget her cunning. Because with our right hand, we pledge allegiance to the Most High God. We support what this Bible says. We forgot all that. Okay, now watch this. Ezekiel 9 and 4. That deals with your right hand in righteousness. But we went off. Watch Ezekiel 9 and 4.
And the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof.
What is in our foreheads? Our minds. Our minds, our brains. What is the mark in your brain, in your mind, that will cause you to sigh and to cry for all the abominations that be done thereof? Ezekiel. The laws. Because if you don't know the laws, how can you sigh and cry? You don't know what the abominations are. Give me an example of an abomination.
Homosexuality.
What does it say?
Well, according to the laws of God, homosexuality is forbidden. It's an abomination.
Yes.
But if you're not studying the laws or keeping them, you would think it's okay to follow into that.
Give me another abomination. Phil. Women wearing pants. Ooh. Everybody stop, huh? Yeah. That's an abomination. Deuteronomy 22 and 5.
That's right.
For all that do so are what?
Abomination.
An abomination. Women dress like men, men dress like women. God says that's an abomination. Adultery. Abomination. Sowing discord amongst brethren that are at peace. Abomination. Yes, somebody had their hand up back there. Yes. Yes, that's an abomination. Watch this. Bear with me a second. Give me Hebrews 8 and 10. Wait, stay in Ezekiel 9. I'm sorry. Let's just read down from verse 4.
And the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry, for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof.
Stop. In Revelation, there's a scripture where, I don't want to give it away, it says the same thing. Where God says, set a mark on the men that sigh and that cry. Corey.
Revelation 11?
No. Zekiah. Revelation 7. Get that? Y'all, get that? I want y'all. That's why the Bible says precept must be upon precept. All the prophets did not use the same wording. Because John didn't use the word mark when it came to the righteous. He used another word. Revelation 7 and 4 or 3? 2.
7 and 2.
Okay.
The book of Revelation chapter 7 verse 2. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads.
Y'all see that? That's the same thing Ezekiel 9 is talking about. But Ezekiel used the word mark. That mark is that seal. Well, how do we prove the seal? Where do we go? Leon.
Isaiah 8 and 16.
Isaiah 8 and 16. Let's get it. I hope y'all writing this down. I know it might be a bit much for some of you. But if you go through your notes day in and day out, you're going to get it.
Isaiah 8:16. Bind up the testimony. Seal the law among my disciples.
Y'all see that? Seal the law. That's what's in your forehead. The law got to be there. Let's go back to Ezekiel 9.
Ezekiel 9 verse 4. And the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry, for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof.
Come on.
And to the others he said in mine hearing, go ye after him through the city, and smite, that not your eyes spare, neither have ye pity. Slay utterly old and young.
The word slay means kill. Kill utterly old people, go ahead.
And young.
And young.
Both maids.
Both young girls.
And little children.
And little. See, God don't care. He will kill your little kids. Go ahead.
And women.
And women.
But come not near any man upon whom is the mark.
That's the question. What is the mark that these men are going to have, that these people are going to have? Ezekiel. The laws. Because that's how they're going to know what the abominations are.
Exactly.
Okay? That's how they're going to know. It ain't got nothing to do with something stuck in your head. I can't believe that that's a doctrine. I really can't.
And the doctrine, if y'all don't look at it, but I did. But it ain't gonna affect me. Some of y'all be like, zombies. Jack Van Impe got a whole series on the mark of the beast is the RFID chip. Alex Jones got a series on the mark of the beast is the RFID chip. It's straight up madness. Madness.
Could you do me a favor? Could you go back to Romans 6 and 23? Because when he read it the first time, I was like, wow. Because we just read in Ezekiel where he pointed out that the abominations is what the sin is. And we just read that the Most High said for the angels to don't come and kill any one of us that have the mark of God in their head. That's what that Ezekiel was talking about. Read it.
Romans 6 verse 23. For the wages of sin is death.
That's the abominations that Ezekiel was talking about. That's why he said kill them. The wages of the abominations is death. That's why the angels went and slayed utterly old and young.
Exactly.
Read.
But the gift of God is eternal life.
But the mark of God, that's why it says, come not near any man upon whom have the mark of God. Read the rest of it.
But the gift of God is eternal life through Jesus Christ, our Lord.
That's the mark that Revelation was talking about. When it says sealed, what is that? Until we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads. So don't be confused by this madness.
Exactly.
Yeah, you notice how mighty Most High is? Because guess what? our people is not researched this Bible. So how would they know what sin is? How would they know America is the most demonic place? They would not know. They would think America is okay. Because they're looking at America through good cars, good houses, good everything. But then they don't look at America through moral. America won't be destroyed for moral. You understand? That's what God says, sin. You understand? It's not that for money. God doesn't deal like that. For moral, that's how America going to be destroyed.
I got to say this. I don't care who get mad either. I got to say it. If everybody's looking for a chip, that means nobody's paying attention to the sin that they're in.
That's right.
That's the whole purpose of this dogma doctrine that's going out here. That's right. Is to take your mind away from being conscious of what sin is.
Right.
Okay, because if you're busy looking for some electric chip in your brother's head, you're not even going to pay attention to the sins that you yourself might be committing.
Right. Pedophilia,
all that garbage. Nobody would look to see you're wicked as hell. Nobody will look to say that because they're busy. Oh, as long as you don't have the chip, you're righteous.
Exactly.
And you're full of demons.
Now, remember, watch this. I'm gonna give you a little few more precepts. I ain't done with the precepts now. Revelation 13. Where's that part about the right hand?
Revelation 13, verse 16. And he calls it all.
So who is this all making reference to, brothers?
All nations.
Nations. Very good. Go ahead.
Both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand.
Now I want you to look at, I'm going to deal with the right hand for a second. Go ahead.
Or in their forehead.
Go ahead.
And that no man might buy or sell.
Give me another word for buy or sell. Trade. Trade or traffic. Very good. Watch this. Get me Sirach, Ecclesiasticus 27 verse 2. Write this down.
Ecclesiasticus 27 and verse...
It's the bottom half. Read the whole thing.
Verse 2. Ecclesiasticus 27 verse 2. The bottom part of the whole thing.
Read the whole thing.
As a nail sticketh fast between the joinings of the stones, so doth sin stick close between buying and selling.
You see that? So doth sin stick between buying and selling. Buying and selling. So sin is right there. Y'all see that? Watch this. Here's another one. Get Psalms. Psalms 26. Psalms 26, we want verse 9 and 10.
Psalm 26, verse 9. Gather not my soul with sinners.
Gather not my soul with sinners. So as we read this, the service of the Most High are not to be joined with sinners. What does sin mean, Gedaliah?
Break the law.
Brothers, sisters, anybody who's willingly breaking the commandments. David said, gather not my soul with sinners. Go ahead.
Nor my life with bloody men.
Come on, watch this.
In whose hands is mischief.
In whose hands is mischief. Watch this.
And their right hand is full of bribes.
And their right hand is full of bribes. Their right hand is full of bribes, meaning deceit. Y'all understand that? Because in Esau's business world, remember we read in Ecclesiasticus, sin is not far from buying and selling. Why? Because they're doing backroom deals. That's why it says in whose right hand is bribes. That's what's going on in the government. No matter how high or low you go in the government, there's buying and selling, there's traffic and trade, bribes, wickedness. Okay? From there, let's go to, we're almost done. Go back to Revelation 13 again, verse 17.
Revelation 13.
And I want y'all to look at verse 7. Let me look at it real quick. Yes, 17.
Revelation 13, verse 17.
Yeah.
Verse 17. That no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark.
Now we know what the mark is. What is the mark, brothers?
Sin.
Sin. Philosophy, according to Colossians what?
2 and 8.
2 and 8. Okay? Buy or sell is talking about what?
Trade.
Trade and traffic. According to what?
Ezekiel 28.
Ezekiel 28. What else?
Sirach 27.
How about y'all forgot Revelation 18?
Okay.
Make sure y'all got these things in your notes. Okay? Where'd I say go? Revelation 13, 17.
And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name.
Okay, which is the 666. And that 666 is not a numeric breakdown. Let me look in your head. Oh, the first 6 represents the I. It ain't talking about that. That's just a nickname term for Esau. That's all it is. Watch this. Give me 1 Maccabees 8 again. This is why the book of Maccabees was, and the Apocrypha itself was taken out of the Bible.
Damien.
I want verse 13, then I want 27 to 29. 1 Maccabees 8, verse 13.
1 Maccabees 8, verse 13. Then
1 Maccabees 8, verse 13.
Verse 13. All 1 Maccabees 8, verse 13. Also that whom they would help to a kingdom, those reign.
So whoever Rome helped to a kingdom, they reign. Go ahead.
And whom again they would, they displace.
So if you didn't agree with Rome's policies, you were displaced. Okay? America does what? They put what on you? Embargoes. The same thing Rome was doing. Go ahead.
Finally, they that were greatly exalted.
Finally, that they were greatly exalted. Jump down to verse 27 to 29.
Verse 27. In the same manner also, if war come first upon the nation of the Jews.
Now this is what Rome said to Judah Maccabee. Listen to their wording.
The Romans shall help them with all their heart, according as the time shall be appointed them.
Come on.
Neither shall victuals be given to them that take part against them.
Stop right there. We're going to pause. I want this to marinate in your brains, in your minds. Remember, in Revelation 13, it said, if you didn't have the mark, you cannot buy or sell. Remember we read that. Now, I'm showing you a precept where if anybody did not follow Rome's policy, this is what they did to him. Read it again from 27.
In the same manner also, if war come first upon the nation of the Jews, the Romans shall help them with all their heart, according as the time shall be appointed them.
Here it comes.
Neither shall victuals be given to them that take part against them, or weapons, or money, or ships, as it hath seemed good to the Romans.
What are we reading about? Trade. We're not going to help those nations. That's how Rome got down. That's why in Revelation 13, when it talked about that other beast that came out of that other, what's the word? The first beast, it's the same policy. Read it again, Aitan, for me.
27 again.
Read from 28 and 29.
28. Neither shall victuals be given to them that take part against them, or weapons, or money, or ships, as it hath seemed good to the Romans. But they shall keep their covenants.
They shall keep their covenants, their agreements.
And that without deceit.
Okay.
According to these articles, did the Romans make a covenant with the people of the Jews.
Y'all see this? So if anybody did not follow Rome's policy, you could not buy or sell. You could not trade or traffic. They said, we won't give them weapons. We won't give them food. We won't give them ships or money.
Embargo.
That's an embargo. That's the same thing Revelation 13 is talking about with America. And these are the precepts to prove it. So if you are that ignorant, anybody in here, you that dumb to follow some chip, some computerized radio frequency identification chip, shame on you. You are dumb as hell. And we can't help you.
You got bit.
You got bit by the zombies.
You are
RFID chip, RFID chip. Not simple. There's no precepts in the Bible about that. Don't be deceived by weak-minded jailhouse Negroes. Everybody understand what I said?
Yes.
All right. Asaph, you wanted to touch on something.
I got one scripture I want to bring up.
Go ahead.
This is Thessalonians. All right, this is another scripture that explains that the mark of the beast is sin. Alright? Thessalonians, 2 Thessalonians 2 verse 10. I tell you can read it for me. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 10. 2
Thessalonians 2 and 10?
Yeah.
Sorry about that, bro.
So brothers, you can put this in your notes. Alright? This is another scripture that explains that the mark of the beast is sin. Alright?
2 Thessalonians 2 verse 10?
Yeah.
And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness. So you all see that? With all deceivableness of unrighteousness. What's another word for unrighteousness? Alright, read it again, Aitan. And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness.
So with all deceivableness and sin, alright, read on.
Of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved.
So those of our people that's going to perish, that got the mark of the beast, that going to perish, and because they were deceived in unrighteousness.
Right.
They was deceived in sin. They was deceived in the white man way of life, in his Christianity.
That's right.
They were deceived in how the white man changed the law on the Sabbath from what, Saturday to Sunday. They are deceived thinking that they don't got to keep God laws no more.
That's it.
Alright?
That's right.
Yeah, and some of our brothers is also deceived that the RFD chip is the mark of the beast. That's also a deceivableness in unrighteousness.
It's a Christian doctrine.
Alright?
Right. Watch this. Get Ecclesiastes 1 and 9. Watch this. I know I'm keeping y'all a bit long, but just want to touch on this real quick. Because, like, brothers, after today, I ain't going over this no more. I ain't going to touch it for a long time. So don't come, oh, I'm confused. You got to wait for the next slew of brothers to come up in here. Then I'll touch it again. But this group right here, I ain't going over this no more with y'all.
You come up in here bitten either, we'll lock you out the door.
Ecclesiastes 1 and 9.
Ecclesiastes 1 verse 9. The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be.
The thing that has been is that which shall be.
And that which is done.
And that which is done upon the earth.
Is that which shall be done.
Okay. Where is that written in the New Testament? It's similar. It's not using the same words. I always quote it. I always paraphrase it. Tell me. It ain't saying it's, let me not say it's saying the exact same thing. It's not, but it's very similar. Give me Romans 15 and 4. Y'all might not get it. That's what you had? Yeah. Okay, you good, bro. You good, bro. You was reading my thoughts there. Reading my thoughts there. Watch this.
Romans 15.
Now you know why you want Ecclesiastes 1 and 9? Because the things that was done in the past is the things that's going to be done now. Meaning, God was angry with our people in the past, right? Right. Why did he kill everybody on the earth? Sin. Did he kill everybody on the earth except Noah and his family? Because of a computer chip. The thing that was done in the past is that which shall be done. Come on.
Romans 15 verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope.
You're going to have hope and comfort if you let your learning be in the Bible. Once you leave the scriptures and you go into another language to get a different breakdown, you are lost. You are lost.
Yeah, man. Can I say something on that, brother? Yeah. When you bring the scripture in Ezekiel 1 and 9, right? Let me ask you a question, Brother Isaac. Why was Babylon destroyed? Why God destroyed?
Babylon was destroyed because of the sin.
Okay. Why was the Media and the Persian destroyed? Who knows? Go ahead.
Because of their sin.
Because of sin, right?
Yeah.
Why was the Greek were destroyed?
Same thing.
But now in America is a different philosophy. It's by the chips.
Right.
Let me y'all get simple. That's simple to believe that.
Here's another scripture for the mark of the beast. Watch this. 1 John 3 and 8. They say if you got the mark of the beast, you're the devil. Let's see what God says. Like I said, John the Revelator in the book of Revelations, he used different words. He used metaphors. He used similitudes. So if you don't understand Genesis to Jude, because they didn't use the term mark of the beast. They use other terms. 1 John 3 verse 8. Let's read that.
1 John 3 verse 8. He that committeth sin is of the devil.
So what's the word there for the mark? Sin. Sin. You of the devil. Go ahead.
For the devil sinneth from the beginning.
For the devil sinneth from the beginning. Remember what Cain? Yeah. Go ahead.
For this purpose the Son of God was manifested, that he might destroy the works of the devil.
So Christ was manifested that he might destroy the works of the devil. Remember in Revelation, he called the devil what? A beast with 7 heads and 10 horns. Come on.
Whosoever is born of God doth not commit sin.
Meaning willful sin. Whoever is born of God, meaning born what? Again. Born again. Whoever is born again does not willingly go out and commit sin. Go ahead.
For his seed remaineth in him.
For his seed. God's seed is what? His laws. His laws remain in you. Go ahead.
And he cannot sin because he is born of God.
He cannot sin, meaning willingly sin, because he is born again. He is born of God. Read.
In this the children of God are manifest, and the children of the devil.
So in this understanding of God's laws, it's 2 things manifest. The children of God and the children of the devil. Go ahead.
Whosoever doeth not righteousness is not of God.
Whoever does not do, what is God's righteousness?
The Lord.
Where will we go to prove that?
Deuteronomy 6 and 25.
Deuteronomy 6:25. That proves that God's laws is his righteousness. Read that again, I thought.
In this the children of God are manifest, and the children of the devil. Whosoever doeth not righteousness,
whoever does not do God's laws,
is not of God.
Is not of God. Go ahead.
Neither he that loveth not his brother.
And in case you forgot, he said, neither he that does not love his brother. So that spirit of hatred one for another, we cannot have up in here. For any of our brothers, for any of our sisters, yes, that includes the black woman. We cannot hate the black woman. That's against God's laws. Yes, you can get mad, it's okay. The scripture says, be ye angry,
sin not.
And sin not. Yes, Amanda.
Describe the laws.
Deuteronomy, let's get it. Deuteronomy 6:25 for him. Okay, it explains righteousness. Because somebody might think righteousness is just being nice to people. I feed the homeless 3 times a week. That's the righteousness of God. Or is that right?
Deuteronomy 6 verse 25. Deuteronomy 6 verse 25. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before the Lord our God as he hath commanded us.
Y'all see that? Everybody understand that? So don't let nobody tell you that righteousness is something else. You have scriptures to prove it. Okay? That's why, remember Deacon Malachi read that scripture. Go back to that what he read in 2 Thessalonians 2:10. Read that again. Because like I told y'all, the prophets use different words to explain the same thing. They use different words. 2 Thessalonians 2:10 again.
2 Thessalonians 2 verse 10. And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness.
Wait, give me an easy word for deceivableness. Because see, that's hard for a Negro Latino. Deceivableness, easy word. Break that word down. Phil. Lies, deceit. The root of that is deceit. And with all deceit, go ahead.
And with all deceivableness,
which means deceit,
of unrighteousness.
So wait. If righteousness is what?
Keeping the laws.
So what is unrighteousness? Not keeping God's laws. Read it again.
And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they received not the love of the truth.
What's the love of the truth? What is the truth?
Law.
Where would you go to prove that the truth is the law? Phil? No. Bezalel.
Psalms 119, 142.
Let's get that real quick. Psalms 119, verse 142. Because somebody might say, some of us think, I know I'm Israel. That's all I need to know. I'm good. My seat is in the kingdom. Just because I know I'm Israel. Judas Iscariot knew he was Israel too.
Yes, sir.
Dathan, Korah, and I knew they was Israel too. Our forefathers that came out of Egypt that were killed by God knew they was Israel too.
Exactly.
Yeah, they were deceived.
Read that.
Psalms 119, verse 142.
We go ahead and explain the truth.
Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth.
Y'all see that? God's law is the truth. His law is the truth. Now, John 14 and 6. I'm going to end it here. I'm adding the law with Christ in this. Not in case. Come on. Because some of you might have doubts about the Savior. Give me that.
John 14, verse 6.
Is that what I want?
Yes, sir. Jesus saith unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me.
If anybody in here, listen good, y'all on the internet too. Christ said he's the way, what did it say? Say it again, read it again.
I am the way, the truth.
Christ is the truth. The truth. Because when he came, guess what he was teaching?
The
laws. He didn't come preaching no Illuminati stuff. He preached the laws. Go ahead.
I am the way, the truth, and the life.
I want you sisters to pay close attention to this. Go ahead.
No man cometh unto the Father but by me.
You got some Israelite groups that say you can get to the Heavenly Father without Christ. That's not biblical. That's impossible.